Good morning. I'm just here with Riley in the swing. Figured I would take this opportunity, hold myself accountable to the alignment assignment. Another thing that I've done in order to guide myself on this alignment assignment is dedicate myself to a Monday to Friday microdose journey, which means, taking the time this weekend to do the mindset and setting environment work. And I've been going through quite a bit privately in my own life, just postpartum with relationships, with the kids, with myself. You want to go on the slide, sweetheart? That was one of the things for, this alignment assignment. And I figured in the time, since, I'm very much at this, in the messy middle in my own life, that I would take some of my own advice, practice what I do preach, take some of my own lessons and stuff. So I retook the mental saboteur quiz, which is all about emotional intelligence. There is a TED Talks on it, but it is also a free quiz, and anyone who has worked with me for affirmations or psychedelic integration coaching has probably been asked to take this quiz and to figure out where their mental saboteurs are and to bring them back to me. So me retaking this quiz in my life, it is something I've retaken over and over again because I like to track the data, not the drama. I like to see, how far I've come, what I'm still struggling with, where I might be holding myself back, where I could free myself up a little bit more, what work is still mine to do, and understand, how saboteurs, these automatic negative thoughts, these ego states, can keep us stuck, or can also, become superpowers. And that's what we really want to do, especially when they're coming forward, is honor what the powers are, listen to the voice of what they're saying, but also free them from the pain, from all that they might be holding. This is like the internal family systems work, the ego states work. It's something that we do want to confront, as hard and uncomfortable as it is. It is that shadow work. It is that deep integration work. It's, the courage to face these demons, to call them by their name, to, allow ourselves to heal and to make space for the good and the beauty. So, yeah, I guess this is just like me coming from an honest place, obviously not perfect or pretending I have it all figured out, because I really don't. Um, I took this quiz again because I'm in a season where I don't want to just survive anymore. I want to understand myself. I want to grow. I've done really amazing things in my life. And I know that there is even more to come. So I really just want to understand, to appreciate and be present more, to also, especially before I go exploring and doing the Wanderlust thing again, I really want to root down in my own land with my own community. I want to become more loving, more grounded, more present, more honest about the patterns that have been running the show behind the scenes in a way. you know we don't always have the conscious understanding. That's why, like, identifying them. This week my attention was simple. It's just like identify what the saboteur is. When they get loud, get 1% closer to love each day. That's been a goal of mine in the past. People who've been following me for a while. I also want to listen to my affirmations every night, which I'm creating new ones for myself since doing this quiz. And if that's something that you want to do as a listener here, I'd be happy to look over or send you the link for the quiz, look over the results, and help you create some affirmations too, or a protocol for your dosing journey, however you want to do this. It's just really great work. And I feel like in a short amount of time, we can make really dramatic changes in our nervous system, changes in our mindset, changes in our inner and outer life, in our bodies, in our spirit, in our energy that we're putting forward or giving out, the energy that we're taking in, what we're seeing, what we're believing. It's not that it fixes everything. It's just that there is some enlightenment that comes, some conscious awareness. It's not about forcing some massive breakthrough. It's just coming a little bit closer to love each day. My main saboteur right now, it was a high 7, and it is a saboteur that I have had since the first time I ever took this test, which was like early 2000s, and that is hypervigilance. And when I see it like still coming up, I feel it in my body because it makes sense. That as much as I know about this saboteur, I don't know everything as much as I believe that I know myself. I'm also still in a way kind of make excuses for why it's there, or to keep this saboteur alive and loud. So there is benefits. It makes me really intuitive, but there it is also something that that keeps my nervous system constantly scanning and waiting for another shoe to drop. It's always preparing for betrayal and abandonment and disappointment and danger. It keeps the rejection, the chaos very present. And I could judge that part of myself, or I could finally tell the truth. That part of me developed for a reason. She protected me. She watched the room. She learned patterns. She noticed tone. She sensed energy shifts. She tried to keep me safe. And now I'm just asking her to just soften, not disappear, not shut up, not to shame that part of me, just soften, because I don't want to fear the loudest voice in my life anymore. The second one is the controller. And this part of me says that, if I can just manage everything, prepare everything, explain everything, fix everything, hold everything together, that maybe I will finally be safe, heard, held. But that controller is not only exhausting, but I am exhausted. And I hate when people tell me, oh, just stop controlling everything. Because the truth is, like, a lot of the time, I feel like I'm surrendering to life, to forces out of my control, to other people. I don't actually feel like I've got control over anything. So, in fact, it's more like, it's just like this anxious thing. It's this want of control, even though I feel out of control. And the truth is, I don't want to control my life. I want to have faith and to trust life. I don't want to grip so hard that I miss the magic. I want to be held by something bigger than my own survival strategies. Yeah. I want it for my kids too. I got my little girl here, and I know that we've got to lead by example as mamas. So, here comes the third saboteur that also has to do with parenting, and that's the pleaser. And that's the part of me that wants everyone to be okay, the part that gives, explains, overextends, softens, I guess, softens the truth, maybe laughs things off, abandons myself, self-sacrifice so other people don't feel uncomfortable. But love that requires me to leave myself is not love. It's it's just another type of abandonment. It's me doing it to myself. And this season is asking me to come home, not only to the land, but to myself, to stop performing peace and earning love. You know, it can be exhausting. I'm allowed to be loved without being useful. I'm allowed to receive. I'm allowed to say no. I'm allowed just to be a woman, a mother, a creator, a healer, and still have needs. Okay, so baby girl. Okay. Yeah, and then there is like the restlessness, and that's the part of me that wants the next thing, the next idea, the next transformation, the next plan, the next vision, the next project. The one that's like eager, can't wait, is like always ready to go, has that energy, or gives me that energy when, even if I am exhausted from the other mental saboteurs and other responsibilities. And that's like another thing about the saboteurs I have, is like they do all have superpowers, and they're not from ego, they're from a place of responsibility, because I had to take responsibility young. And that's why, you know, it's become such a big part of my identity. It's so hard to soften those parts, because I do let them, like, in a way, when I let them be free, I myself, the Ashley being, is no longer free. And so that's, I think, why I'm coming full circle back to this work again and again and again. And so, you know, what I wanted to say about this part, like the restlessness, it does feed energy when there is none, or if, you know, you feel burnt out. It's also that entrepreneurial part of me, and I love that part of me. I really, really do, because she's creative, she's alive, she's fire. But sometimes she's also running from stillness. In these 2 weeks, I have no Finn. I will not be seeing his dad. It's just me and Riley, and I'm treating it like a sacred reset. We may take a pilgrimage. There's a 160K Simcoe loop that we may do. Part of it, we may do all of it. I'm not really sure, but we will, you know, leave the phone at home and, you know, wanderlust, just ourselves, but also while staying that commitment to myself about staying rooted for now, you know, after years of travel, years of van life, years of being away from home, you know, 10 years since I've lived here, really, or stayed longer than like a few weeks or month or whatever, you know, it is a commitment that I, you know, just for like a year, just ground in and see what my own land and my own community has for me, for healing, for understanding, for connection, and gracing myself at the same time, humbling myself. You know, it's not a vacation, it's not an escape, it's not a devotion. It's like, well, I guess if it is that way, it's like a devotion to my mind, to my home, to my body, to my daughter. You know, we haven't ever had time, just the two of us. Meanwhile, me and Finn, van life, all road school, like all that kind of stuff we did for years. So, you know, this is a strange time. I always tell Finn, you know, it's not that I'm sharing my heart, it's that my heart grows bigger and bigger. And so yeah, now I'm going to explore that space, what it is to be. He taught me how to be a mother. Now I'm going to see, you know, where I'm at as a mother and with myself and with a daughter. It's a devotion to the woman that I'm becoming. You know, I'm still working with the mushrooms, Other medicine companions this week, Monday to Friday, it'll be psilocybin and lion's mane. Also with respect, with intention. You know, it's not a magic fix. It's not a way to bypass the work. It's a mirror, a medicine, a reminder. When we're microdosing too, we're not taken for a ride. We are active participants. So that's really good to know. And, you know, as I've said before, sometimes if you're not doing this work, microdosing isn't enough to bypass that default mode network. So if you're having the negative thoughts and not doing the work, then you could stay in that loop. Whereas if you are, you know, still doing the mindset work and cleaning your environment and volunteering yourself to let go and to change, you know, in 7 days or in 2 weeks, a lot can happen. You know, I understand that the mushrooms don't do the work for me, but they do. Oh, here, sweetheart. You can play the music? Yeah, good girl. Do, 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 do. They do help me hear what's already inside, what's already present. Come on, let's go to the grass, sweetheart. You go pick mommy some dandelions? Get me some wishes. Get me dandelions. They do also help me notice where I'm tense, where I'm afraid, where I'm still holding grief, where I'm asking life, you know, am I safe yet? You know, I do feel more safe in places where I'm familiar. Like, this is my hometown. I grew up here, like all around, you know, these few little villages. And so, you know, I know logically that I'm safe, but my nervous system still hasn't settled. I'm still postpartum. I'm, you know, still integrating all those years away, all those years traveling, all these years being a single mom. I'm catching up to the fact that even though I open myself up to love and to be a mom again, I'm in the same pattern of doing it alone, walking that lone wolf path. And, you know, so that brings me back to, like, maybe the real assignment is learning to just say yes to the moment, to tell myself that I am safe, and my nervous system, my body, and just allowing that to be enough to soften. And this is why I have the affirmation section. I'm working with affirmations, not as a fake type of positivity. I don't think that it's like about pretending or the fake it to make it, or pretending that everything's fine when it isn't. It's about choosing language, these sacred words of empowerment that give my nervous system a new pathway to essentially utilize the time with the psilocybin and with the lion's mane when neuroplasticity is happening, to create new pathways. Words that say I'm safe, that I am supported, that I am not alone, that I'm allowed to heal, that I'm allowed to change, that I'm allowed to be loved, that I'm allowed to become new. You know, it's all, you know, tools. These affirmations are tools that are inspired by the energy of Louise Hay, of, you know, even older elders like Napoleon Hill used affirmations in the 20s. And, you know, there's stoic and esoteric wisdoms. There is entire religions and practices like Kundalini yoga that uses mantras, sacred words of empowerment. You know, there's all kinds of different people, whether it's in the entrepreneurial space or the spiritual space or the physical body healing space, that are choosing self-love, choosing affirmations. You know, I'm choosing the power of thought, desire, faith. I am choosing mystery, courage, the intelligence of nature. And I'm also inspired by my own soul calling of choosing love. So, yeah, tonight and every day this week, I am going to tell myself that I am safe in this moment. My body is learning peace and safety in peace, that I am releasing the need to control and getting 1% closer to love, that I will no longer abandon myself, that any outcome is happening for me, not to me, that the way knows the way, that I am allowed to receive, that I trust the wisdom of my healing, that I forgive the parts of me that only knew survival, that I am enough. And, you know, I guess this is a bit of an invitation too. You know, maybe your alignment assignment is not to launch the next best thing or a new course or whatever. It's not about fixing a relationship or a wound or yourself or cleaning the whole house or mastering a routine or becoming some ideal version of yourself. It's an alignment assignment to just simply notice the fear, the control, the pleasing, the restlessness, the victim story, the perfectionism, and then asking where, yeah, like just asking, I guess, like, what would my higher self do here? What would love do here? Not fear, not shame, not survival, not the old wound, but just love, that loving self. Careful, sweetheart. You gotta be gentle with mommy. You know, it's about getting 1% closer to love each day, you know, like it's hard. My body hurts sometimes, you know, from carrying Riley, from her nursing off of me, from the constant relentlessness. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, Finn's gone for 2 weeks. That's going to be, you know, a good break for you. But it's like, no, it's not a break. You know, him and I are attached. That's the longest we've ever been. You know, my nervous system can't predict any safety or anything like that for him. I have absolutely no control over anything. It's complete surrender. My nervous system, I need to allow it to calm and to find that space. And at the same time, you know, I also have Riley triggering it with, you know, her needs and demands, and you know, and it puts strain physically and in my nervous system and things like that. So it's a very important time, and I'm interested to see, you know, in these 7 days, me preparing over the weekend, the week of microdosing. And yeah, just how far I'm gonna get there, what kind of peace I could experience, where on the love scale I'm gonna feel I am. This is the alignment assignment, and today I'm choosing to begin again. All right.